All right, the first half of the year is done and dusted. I guess we have 4 races in the books, 4 scores on the point or on the Pro Series scoreboard. So, yeah, overall, happy with how I'm sitting right now. 4 races in, happy with how Boulder 70.3 went. That's obviously what we're going to focus on for this video. But yeah, right now I'm happy to be on a break. So. Tough to go into a break right off of 2 really good races. In the past, I've kind of raced well in the middle and then had fizzled out a little bit. So it's tough to shut it down when things are going so well. But for a number of reasons, this was definitely the time to take a break. I didn't recover that well from Chattanooga. It took me a little bit longer than normal. And then, forcing it now to find another race really soon wouldn't be smart. So a little bit awkward timing with taking a break and then really only having 5 weeks to get into Lake Placid. But it's not like my fitness is going to fall off the map in 5 days of pretty light activity or maybe no activity. But back to Boulder 70.3. Yeah, so the race got off on a positive note. Actually, I probably had the best start of the swim that I ever have. I was pretty nervous. There's it was 70 plus guys on the start line, and it was pretty narrow at the start. So they're kind of stacked 2, maybe 3 deep in some spots, and I don't really love need a waist high water. So I was just it wasn't an ideal situation, and I found myself kind of right in the middle of the group, which is typically a recipe for getting the crap kicked out of you. You got to get out hard, but I knew I was in the middle, but I also knew that I was in between. I had 2 guys on either side of me who were probably going to lead the group out. So I was able to, they went out so fast, I was able to get clean water actually right away. And it was probably the softest swim start. I didn't get hit at all. I had clean water. I don't think I made any contact with anybody aside for touching their feet the entire race, which has never happened before in a pro field. So that definitely helped me get a really good start. I was I was just on the feet of that front group at the about 150 meter mark, and I was working too hard, and I was just like, all right, I've got away, and let's just settle in. And then I was able to just kind of settle into my pace and ended up working or being in a group of 3. So I was in the middle for that most of the time. I believe Sam, a guy that I swim with a little bit with Julie's group, was in there, and I think he was on my feet. But anyways, the 3 of us just kind of went in together and came out about 2 minutes down and 45-ish seconds behind the main group. It broke up a lot more than I expected. I was really surprised that it wasn't just one long train, especially up front when I knew there was about 8 guys up there. I figured they would all come out together, but it was like 2 and then a break and then 2 and then a gap and then 2 and then a gap and then us. So with these big groups or big start lists, I expect things to stick together a little bit more. There's more gap fillers in there. Chattanooga wasn't that way, and then this one wasn't that way either. So I guess that's why you don't race a race on paper, because it wasn't the way I expected it to roll out. Onto the bike. I felt pretty good coming out of the water. Obviously, anytime you come out with a good swim, it's a bit of an adrenaline rush. You're filled with positive energy rather than I just set myself up for an uphill battle all day. So that obviously helps. And I like this course. There's not much technical about it. You can just get into aero and hammer it. It's a fast course. There's not a lot to break things up. There's a few little kickers here and there, but it really rewards people with a good aero position. And so, and I'm familiar with it. And so went out, rode pretty well straight from the start. Was able to, make some progress on all but two. I think Nick and Sam Appo were able to kind of hold everybody else off, but we were making good progress on the rest of the group. And then Trevor came up on me a little bit earlier, again, just like Chattanooga, than I expected. And again, talking to him after the race, he said he probably had the best swim of his life, and that helped his day out significantly. But still, I was riding well and was moving along pretty in a pretty good clip, and thought I would be just fine. And ended up getting through the first lap pretty clean. Formed a bit of a group with Justin Metzler, Sam Osborne, and then Matt Sharp. Eventually we scooped him up right at the end or beginning of the second lap. And then there's a couple other guys that were in the mix as well. Braxton was in there as well. And so we just kind of shuffled along. Any roller, somebody else would have to take the lead because things compressed, and no one, with the race ranger on there, no one wants to be the guy with the red light. So, we made sure that I think everybody stayed pretty clean out of the group. Everybody did a fair bit of work, and so it was a good group to ride in. And I didn't really get any splits to the lead. So coming off after the end of the second lap, coming off the bike, going 158, I thought that I had a great swim and a solid bike going sub 2. Thought I definitely gave myself a chance to fight for the win, and got the first real split I got, said that I was, I believe, in 6th place, and I was over 6 minutes down from the lead. And when somebody rides like that, you just got to tip your hat. I figured he'd worked pretty hard, and I knew he didn't have a full run build in him, but obviously had a couple more weeks since Chatty, and he held on pretty strong there. So I wasn't counting on him to blow up, but that was really my only chance to have the win. So in that situation, it was work hard right away up front, secure 2nd place, and then see what happens in the last 10K if you have a little bit of a shot. And I mean, I guess that's essentially the same strategy that I used in Chattanooga. A lot happened in the last 10K. So it's just setting up that last bit. So you have to nail your nutrition. You have to make sure you're staying cool and hydrated all along the way. I moved in. I made the pass. I believe I passed Colin on the first tar section, where I finally got to open up my stride, get off the gravel a little bit, and then was able to see a glimpse of 2nd and 3rd in front of me. And then that's just kind of keyed off of them, and then worked to pass them right at the beginning of the 2nd lap. And at that point, I was still 4+ minutes down from Trevor. So it was just, keep the pressure on, and, hopefully he makes a mistake on the nutrition side of things, or he overcooked a little bit. That was, I wasn't going to, he was running really well. I wasn't going to whittle 4 minutes away if he didn't crumble. But you want to be in the position to take advantage if he does. And he held on strong. I guess I heard a report that in the last mile he was cramping up and had to walk a little bit, but he was still well enough in front that at that point it wasn't going to make a difference. So anytime somebody has a day like that, you tip your hat. To run a 113 off a 151 bike is incredible, and I don't know many races that doesn't win, regardless of how the swim goes. So all in all, I was happy with another fastest run split, and to go 110 on that course. That it doesn't look hard if you look at the profile map, but it's it's not a great course for someone who runs like I do with a long stride, and you know, you just lose a little bit with every step. You lose a little bit when you're pushing off in that gravel. So yeah, I was happy with the day. Built a little bit of confidence in being able to have a successful performance on a different style of course than I've raced in the past as well. So overall, you know, no complaints coming away with second. Yeah, so this week is my mid-season break. It worked out well. Olivia will be 3 months old at the end of the week, and so Ash went back to work at 12 weeks, and then we can't have her alone with daycare until 3 months, and so there's this week of overlap where I'm on dad duty, and so I'm actually really excited for that, and just spending some time with her this week, and just being at the house and off my feet a little bit. I planned on doing nothing Sunday, but my knee was actually pretty swollen just from the gravel running and being on the washboards. I don't think something didn't like it, and so I jumped on the bike and just tried to spin out some of the inflammation out of the legs, and yeah, so feeling much better today. So today is Monday when we're filming this, and so I'll take today completely off, and then we'll see what I feel like doing the next couple of days. On Thursday or Friday, I'll jump on the bike again, and then I'll start running with the lever for the first couple runs. Again, I don't need to rush back. I'm not worried that my run's going to go and, you know, going to disappear in a couple of days. So, but I do want to get the stimulus and just kind of get the neuromuscular turnover with low impact while I'm kind of recovering. I've raced a lot, and you know, I didn't take a huge off season after last year, and you know, I ended the year with Nice and then Florida, and then you know, I've raced 4 times already this year, and I have at least 2 more Ironmans coming up. So that's a lot of racing in a calendar year. So I'm just trying to be smart, not do anything, you know, greedy. And you know, I think the Pro Series is going to go to the people who are consistent throughout the year, not the ones that have 1 or 2 great performances. And I've had 2 good performances. Well, one, yeah, we'll call it one a great performance if that's not too arrogant. But and then you know, Texas was okay. And so I need to have at least 2 more really good results, and then you know, hopefully 3. And you know, they don't have to be lights out, but it'd be great if they are. But I think, you know, in order to, you know, be, you know, consistently in the battle for the top 5 spots or top 2 or top 1, I've got to put together, you know, 3 more good performances. So that's the focus right now. Obviously, you know, I want to have a great Lake Placid, and then, you know, go all in for Kona, and then see what's left for December. So keeping the run, especially trying to use the lever a little bit more than I would normally. I usually use it once a week. At the beginning of this build, I'll probably use it twice a week, just to keep the run impact a little bit less as I go, and try to keep this 39-year-old body healthy. So yeah, that's what we've got for this one. I'll be doing some aero testing here at the beginning of next week, so hopefully we'll get a video out with some results and some numbers on that, and then yeah, we'll just kind of keep these videos rolling. So make sure you hit the subscribe button on your way out, and we'll see you next time.